Okay, as we showed in the first video, when you launch the logo program, the logo creator, it shows you all these already existing logos that exist that you could use for yours. You can base yours on one of these if possible, and you can see the different categories here. Some of them are really simple, some of them are more complex, and by checking out the various categories, it might be helpful for you to pick something. So take a look at all of them, and maybe there'll be something there that will be very close to what you have already in your design, and then you could simply modify it. So some that have very little, some are all words, some are just basic shapes. So there should be something there that you can maybe develop a little further. Here you see cartoons and some other simple ones. And so anyway, let's look at maybe I'm going to check out, let's see, the ones that are based on words. And let me maybe select one of these that might work, or I could just play around with to demonstrate what we could do with that. And I'll pick this one. And you'll see immediately it'll open up in the screen. It'll be on the blank screen. And let's just play with this a little bit so that we can modify it. And now if you click on it, you'll be able to select a portion. Now the bottom portion is separated from the top portion, you see. And I just changed the color. And then when I select the top portion, I could change the color of the top portion. So you could select either the top or bottom. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to edit it. If you click the edit button, you could go ahead and it'll show points that you could drag. And if you drag these points, you can maybe adjust the shape and develop it a little bit more in a way that will be suitable for your own particular design. And here what I'm doing is just double clicking. Once you double click, you either click the edit button or double click, you could go ahead and now make these adjustments with these points. So the points that are there will allow you to move that particular point, and therefore the shape will be adjusted. So this is one way of doing it. You can create a logo in that manner. Or let's just go ahead back and let's go ahead this time. What we're going to do is create a logo from a blank screen. So if we click on the button that says create blank screen, then what will happen is the screen will just open up as a white space, a white page. And here you'll see some templates, basic shapes that you could use already pre-made. You could maybe select one of those and utilize that, make some adjustments to it, as well as in the previous example of already pre-made logos. So you might want to try that out. Here, let's just experiment a little bit and see what's up. I clicked on the one, and you can see here, it's a pretty simple shape. It might be able to be used, but you can alter it by, if you double click on it. When you double click on a shape, it does allow you to be able to stretch it, or in this case I'm just selecting that one portion. What I'm going to add is a color there. But if you double click, it also bring up those same points that we had talked about. And when they bring up points like that, then you can adjust a variety of things if you wish. So here I'm just playing around with the edge line, and you're seeing what that'll do. But here I'm going to double click on the edge and maybe just make a little slight adjustment in that edge to create another kind of look. Now I've just added another shape. Just clicked on it and it dropped it right in. And you can go ahead and select portions of that if you want, and use pieces of it if it's a multiple shape, and maybe delete whatever area you don't want. In this case, I'll delete the outline. So in that case, you can maybe, this gets kind of complex for a logo, but what I'm going to do is eliminate that and start with a blank screen. When I start with a blank screen, I'm going to create one from scratch now. And here I'm just selecting one of the shapes to the left there. You see a variety of shapes from stars to diamonds to triangles. Here I just selected a rounded rectangle. And then clicking on some of these gradients here, you can select gradients if you want, or you could select something, just a basic shape, plain shape like that, plain color rather, flat color. Or you could do these artistic ones that show little glows, and they're like buttons. And they'll show a little reflection, highlights, that sort of thing. So I mean, you could fill it, you could create the fill in any way you want. And what I'm going to do is go back to the flat color and just throw flat color in, like so. And once you do that, by double clicking on it, again, you can adjust. You can see here I'm double clicked on it, and I'm just simply adjusting some of the points to create that kind of shape. So you can make your adjustments in that manner. There's also a pen tool, which allows you to draw a shape any way you want. You could actually trace over, a drawing that you've done. Here I'm just clicking on the type tool, and I'm going to type in a word. And then what I'll do is use that word as part of my logo design, say. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the middle there and say, okay, that's good, but maybe I need to adjust the font a little bit. So over on the right, you can make adjustments to the font as well. And here you see I'm just going to make it a little bolder. You could do that through a variety of ways. And right now, this is not a, I'm just adjusting the size. This is just pure type. This is not considered a shape. I can turn this into a shape, though. You'll notice on the right panel there's something called Create Outlines. If I click on Create Outlines, it'll make this into an actual shape. And by simply double clicking on that, once it's made into outlines, here I'm just changing color now, get ahead of myself here. So I'm going to put in some different colors, find a color that'll work. So I haven't created the outlines yet. I'm just right now just playing with different colors. You can pick whatever you think your color combination, your company or your logo you want it to be. Now I'll click on the outlines. So with this now, that turns this into a shape. That means that I can manipulate points. And so I'll just take and click on some of the points and drag them. And so you can then make your lettering stylized to maybe fit your idea. And so, I'm not doing anything really worthwhile here, just demonstrating how this can be done. So you could actually create a logo made of traditional typeface, a traditional typeface, and then simply make the adjustments to create, a more interesting, a more related one. Here what I'm going to do now is I'm going to export this. When you export it, I'm going to export it as a JPEG or a PNG file. Either one you could do, here. But you'll notice here that this can adjust the size of the output. Right now it's just a little too small. In other words, it's the size is, you could see here now I've adjusted 150, and now I got it up to 300, and it's 1920 by 1440, which creates a bigger image. You can always adjust your image in other things. So there will be that watermark, but it's subtle and you can hardly see it. So in any case, now what I'll do is I open this up in Apple's preview, Mac preview, and then what I'm going to do is just crop this a little bit. You can see that this particular file was pretty good, though. So you might want to crop it, and now it makes a pretty small file. And then what I'm going to do is, not small file, smaller shape. You don't have all the white space. So I'll just save that. Once you save that, that'll produce your file that you can then upload to the forum for a grade.